Hello everybody, my name is Luke Marr and this is Hot Mode, and today on Hot Mode we are bringing you an Emmys 2021 red carpet roast and review. I want to say to the people that decided to have 3 major red carpets within the same time span as Fashion Week, like New York, London, a really big, because I'm just very stressed out. No more red carpets till 2022. Please and thank you, I really need that. But let's get into this Emmys 2021 red carpet roast. So first up is Aidy Bryant. Now she is wearing full Simone Rocha, and I believe that this is a custom look. It seems to be based on some of the embroidery and colors from the fall 2021 collection. Essentially, you have a whole lot of sort of rose and floral embroidery throughout. You can see it sort of meandering. It's stunning. It looks really beautiful. There are little flounces on the sleeves, and then the cuffs of the dress and sort of pockets, and the neckline is all piped in a very sort of signature Simone Rocha costume jewelry jewel moment. Now this most definitely is custom because I couldn't find it in fall 2021, but it aligns with the sort of colors and the embroidery from that collection. So I'm kind of very happy to see Aidy Bryant getting a custom moment. Also, I'm happy to know that she has taste not only in comedic sort of senses, but also she's a fashion girl. She knows. She said, Simone, I got it. I know. We're on it. So the dress, honestly, I think sort of falls in line with Simone's oversized silhouettes. That's sort of what she gravitates towards for the most part. Whether it's like a knit or whether it's a sort of frilly organza or tulle dress, she does really do sort of big, bold silhouettes. I love the sleeves. I like the fact that they're curved. We have a little flounce right here. There's not a whole lot of flouncing going on in the dress, but again, I kind of love the way that the gathering works. So it's not just a straight across line. If you can see, you can sort of see that there are little curves to it. It sort of helps to sort of create a transition. It's not just flat across and then full sort of, organza moment. And that, I think, is like good design. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just, okay, we're gonna put the seam here and who cares? Well thought out. I think the bag sort of works in with the costume jewelry sort of piping going on. I think the headband sort of plays into the whole idea of the red. Overall, I am rather happy with this. I think it's, certified Simone, but at the same time, it's a nice sort of fun custom look that Aidy Bryant looks happy in, but also very chic in. Next up is Amy Poehler. This is horrific. Maybe this is what all of these older people that I talk to about SNL mean when they say, like, SNL was so good when Amy Poehler was on it. Like, was this the funny part? The outfit, the look, the belted blazer with a silver sequin skirt that is not at all hemmed or tailored for any reason? What do you want me to say? It's just bad. It's not good. There's nothing I can say about it. It's a blazer with a belt on it and a ill-fitted sequin skirt. It's disgusting. Next up, Annie Murphy. Now, she is wearing Valentino Haute Couture. This is from the fall 2021 Haute Couture collection. And listen, it wasn't a great dress on the runway. Listen, I love the color. I think it's very sort of this muted, Pier Paolo, teal moment, aquamarine maybe. And I think the color is really, I think it's lovely. This sort of very baggy, draped style is very hard to pull off. It's very difficult to do. It's hard. The model from Valentino very barely did it. And so with Annie, it's just, there's like an asymmetrical, like, it's not even a crease, it's like a crunch, it's messy, and then you have the little bow that's sort of sticking out at the waist. The slit is not, it's not great, it's not great. And again, like, I like the Pier Paolo as sort of trying something a little bit different, you know what I mean? When I see the bow, it reminds me of the Zendaya look that she wore in Venice, and also that was from this collection. So like, I'm seeing where those things are coming in, but I think it needs to be reworked. I like the idea of it. The execution is not great. And so here, it looks frumpy, it looks dumpy, and I don't want to have to say that about Valentino Haute Couture. I don't. But next up is Anya Taylor-Joy. Now, she is wearing Dior Haute Couture, I believe. Now, this is going to be crazy. I really love this. I think this is great. I think this is stunning. This is better than the Pretty in Pink Barbie moment that we had, and I'm into it. So, on Law Roach, who styles Anya, he had a picture of a woman who essentially had like a very low slung sort of halter style dress that had a big sort of set of crystals or pearls going down the back. I think it was pearls. And then it's just like a bare back right to the ass cheek, or to the crack, I would say, not the cheek. It's more of a crack. And so I'm pretty positive that that's a reference to the movie What a Way to Go, which was put out in 1964. And now Anya, I know, is like doing a movie, I don't know the name of it, but it's about her sort of like going back in time to the 60s. So I think that's sort of where we're going with that. And I think that's fun. I think that's smart. I think that's a way to sort of do what they call method dressing. I didn't come up with that term. I wish I had. But it's essentially where you sort of take what you're doing in a movie or in a TV show or whatever and bring that into your sort of either everyday style, red carpet sort of dressing. And I think this is a brilliant way to do it, sort of referencing cool, iconic 1960s movies and moments. I'm kind of obsessed. I love it. I think the halter, it looks really, really lovely on her. She really can pull it off so beautifully. The yellow cape, kind of intrigued by. I don't know what's going on with the cuffs of it because they're so big and they're so thick, but I love it, and I think the yellow really plays super duper well off of this sort of creamy, almost like a very light yellow sort of silk halter dress. And then you can see the sort of, you know, jewels dripping down the back to reference What a Way to Go. So overall, I think this is a really good example of like simple, stunning, elegant, gorgeous, but at the same time there are elements of it that are really beautifully referenced to different sort of movies and moments and costumes by Edith Head, and at the same time there's a little bit of design flair in the big sort of yellow cuffs with the off-the-shoulder sort of wrap train. This is good. This is wonderful. This is what I like to see. So next up is Beanie Feldstein, and she is wearing Brandon Maxwell. Now this is from the Spring 2022 collection, and essentially it's a glittery, reflective, lame-esque dress. It's pleated all sort of throughout in an accordion pleat sort of fashion. Normally you get everybody doing like an accordion pleat skirt, and that's sort of it, and then the top is sort of like plain and not really textured, but I actually can appreciate the fact that the top is also textured. I think it makes the sleeves a lot more intriguing, a lot more fun, a lot more sort of weird and wide and wacky. The belt, do I love the belt? No, but like, I guess in a way it helps to cinch the bod, so like if that's what we're going for, okay. But overall, I like the fact that there's sort of this mixture of like light pink and sort of salmony, orangey sort of tones going on throughout the dress, so it's not just one color, it sort of bleeds and blends, which is really, really sweet, honestly. Look at me saying nice things about Brandon Maxwell. I think it's a nice dress. I think there are interesting design qualities of it. Do I obviously want more avant-garde over the top? Yes, of course. But I'm not opposed to this. Next up is Billy Porter wearing Ashi Studio. Now, this is really just a sort of top with a wide-legged pant, a lot of sort of jewelry, and then what look like accordion pleated fan, circular fan pieces of fabric that create like a flamenco-y sort of sleeve, or like a take maybe on a flamenco sleeve, but in reality they're really just like attached at the elbow, so it's not really like a sleeve, it's more of like an attachment to a sleeve. It's there, you know. I appreciate that Billy Porter is taking risks as per usual. I wish Billy would like work with cooler, lesser known brands. I feel like there are a lot better, more up and coming, more intriguing, more interesting brands that Billy could work with, and I think, you know, that would be cool to see, because this just, it airs on like the costumey aspect, and it's just, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like a turtleneck with a pant, and then like we attach something at the sleeve. Next up is Katherine OHara, and she's wearing Kong Tree. I'm not totally opposed to this. I like the pant. I think fits really, really well. And you know, listen, I'm not an asymmetry kind of person, but the drape is intriguing. I think the color is really sweet on her. I like the fact that we have like a train moment, but it's not run-of-the-mill dress with a long train. It's a top that creates a train. I feel like it adds a bit of excitement. I feel like we've been seeing that, you know, for the past couple of seasons. A lot of let's utilize shirting and sort of tops as a way to create drama and not just always do a dress. So I'm not really opposed. I feel like the whole sort of Grecian draping Viennese Madame Grey sort of thing is coming back as well, and so in that regard I'm intrigued by it. The fact that we have a cuff I don't really love on one sleeve. I do really like the sort of idea of a little capelet moment, so essentially the arm sort of shoots out from over here, and then I don't really mind this asymmetry moment. I get it, it's like draping, and that's kind of a part of draping is like asymmetry. Overall, there are like certain little tiny things I would change about this, but for the most part I'm intrigued. I'm not opposed. Maybe I wish the pants were a little bit more textured, but besides that, I'm into it. Next up is Cynthia Erivo. Now she is wearing Louis Vuitton. Now this is custom because this is pretty much based, or at least it's not based, but it takes inspiration from the Resort 2022 collection. Nicolas Jesquier and the custom team at Louis Vuitton has gotten it together recently, and I'm very proud. I'm very happy. I'm very into it because, like, honestly, this is great. So the look from Resort 2020 that this is most likely a reference to is one that's a yellow sort of turtleneck top, and then it has sort of big feathery sleeves in the blue and the white with the fil de plume and the green. And listen, it has a white pant attached. That look, I don't really get. This, though, I feel like is a great way to take that sort of inspiration and fun aspect from the runway and bring it into a sort of custom red carpet moment. And I feel like it keeps the whole essence of the brand, both on the red carpet and the runway, together. I think that's important for a brand, and so I'm happy to see that that's, you know, sort of going on. Now, listen, I think the white is really easy. I think it plays into the feathers. Do I wish there was a belt? No, I don't. We don't need a belt. Louis Vuitton, don't do it to me. All of LVMH is into the belts. We know. Belts, we're okay. Leave them to the straight men that buy the damier belt, and we're good. We're into it. The mermaid skirt, stunning. Gorgeous, iconic. I think it's a brilliant way to sort of take in the simplicity of the white sort of bodice and half skirt. And then, you know, you have the blue and the green. They're color, they're bright, they're flappy and fun. Cynthia Erivo likes to do color, and she likes to do kind of kooky and crazy, and I'm always into it. And then I think in reality it ties together because you have the white fil de plume sort of long feathers that are flying out of the blue and the green sort of tiered feathers. And so in that regard, I think it all plays in together really, really well. I think it's a great way to bring in a runway moment to a red carpet. Nicola, keep doing this. This is it. This is the vibe. This is what we need. This is what we want. This is what we're asking for, and we're getting it. And so, honestly, nix the belt next time, and we're in it. Cynthia Erivo, proud. Next up is DeFaro Woon-A-Tai. Now, he is wearing, I actually don't know. I did spend like a long time trying to find his Instagram and I couldn't find it. Maybe that's just me. Couldn't find a stylist. Maybe that's just me. But I'm intrigued by the suit. Listen, it is a black suit, which we don't always love a black suit. But at least this black suit is not like your run-of-the-mill boring black suit. It's not like a black jacket, pant, and like a white button down underneath. No. So it has a sort of Mao collar. A collar that, in my opinion, is referencing sort of like the communist Mao era sort of collars that were often worn by many people or many members of the Communist Party. It was sort of like the official uniform. So that's why I call it the Mao collar. I feel like it probably has another name. And then it's just sort of a very sort of matte, simplistic black suit. The pants, they fit okay. The jacket, I like the collar. But the thing that's so intriguing to me is the little patches of sort of black velvet. And I don't know, I feel like maybe it's like a Junya Watanabe kind of moment. Maybe it's like a Rei Kawakubo for Comme des Garçons moment. Maybe it's like a Yohji Yamamoto. I know everybody's going to be like, they're all Japanese. What are you talking about? You're talking about Chinese culture and Japanese designers. No, I get it. But to me, this sort of has that feeling of taking very intriguing, easy peasy, like nice tailoring, which I think a lot of those designers do, aka the three that I've been discussing. But it sort of brings in this like little weird moment where you patchwork in a different sort of fabric, which to me is this sort of black velvet that jumps all around throughout the pant and the jacket. I'm not really sure, again, who this is by. I like to see that it's not your run-of-the-mill suit. I'll take it in that regard. Do I want to see more from DeFaro? Absolutely. But I feel like this is a very good start since this is the first time I'm seeing him on a red carpet since I've started watching Reservoir Dogs. So I can't wait to see what's going to go on in the future. Next up is Dan Levy. Now he is also wearing Valentino Haute Couture. Now this is a men's look from the fall 2021 collection. It is a nouveau take on the three-piece suit, which again, I like when designers do it. I feel like it's fun, I feel like it's intriguing, I feel like it's interesting. So it's a rather sort of half-wrap, like ribbon tie jacket, which I think when we looked at Annie Murphy's, we can say and sort of see that wrapping and sort of flowing of strings and wrapping and wrap dresses, or I guess if you want to call it a wrap dress. This is like a wrap jacket. So I kind of like to see that little design technique and quality sort of going on throughout these different looks, and it's cool that, again, it's sort of Schitt's Creek alumni pulling that together. Now, this is like a little skirt moment underneath, so it's not really like a pant, it's not part of the pant, it's like a little tied skirt. Now, on the runway, they left it open, which honestly I think was like kind of better, just because I think the proportions are a little bit strange with the jacket and the skirt. I feel like maybe the skirt moment could have been shortened a little bit, and I feel like that would have helped with the pants, but it's just very clunky here, and only because it's just so long. The skirt is kind of long, so I wish it had been shortened That would have really, really helped. And also like a different shoe. A black and like a bright sort of vibrant blue like this does not make sense to me. So yeah, the proportions are making it hard for me to love it. Do I like the idea of the look? Am I proud of Dan Levy for going for it? Do I like Valentino putting skirts on haute couture runways? Absolutely. But just a little bit of a better tailoring job is needed for me. So next up is Elisabeth Olsen, and she's wearing the Row, which happens to be her sister's brand. And I mean, like, she also happens to have like another brand that is literally named after her. Elizabeth and James is like the other Olsen twins brand. So like, if you didn't know, now you know. I think this is very the Row. The Row is a brand that for the most part is known for its $1,000 cashmere shirt. And by shirts, I mean like T-shirts. So it's this, but cashmere. Simplicity and nice quality sort of fabrics are the thing that the Row is sort of known and beloved for. Now this is a sort of like caftan gown, which I think is a fun, nice, easy way to sort of go about doing a red carpet moment without it being a gown that you sort of have seen a million times before. It also sort of plays into the whole oversized, sort of not bodycon silhouette that the Row often does both on and off the runway. It's a sort of little bit of a plunging V neckline. It's fitted at the waist. There's no belt. Oh my god, isn't that crazy? And then it sort of has a nice sort of caftany sleeve moment. It comes down and then it's just a sort of very wide skirt that's not trying to fit and flare. It's not trying to flare and fit. It's not trying to fit. It's not trying to flare. It's not trying to do anything than just fall beautifully, gracefully. Listen, I know people are gonna be like, it's really boring, it's really uninteresting, and like, yeah, I guess so, but also at the same time, like, that's what the Row does. So I'm not here to expect some avant-garde, crazy, kooky, over-the-top, amazing, fully embellished, embroidered dress. It's a very nicely made dress in a beautiful sort of cream. It keeps that oversized silhouette that we know from the Row. I like the fact that they are getting more and more into red carpets. I think it makes sense. I think dressing your sister is also like the smartest way to go about it. So I approve this message. So next up is Emma Corrin. Now she is wearing a custom Miu Miu look. Now this, I have been told, was essentially based on fall 2021, but it was a way to sort of make yellow cool and interesting. Now, I did get a chance to very quickly speak with Harry Lambert, who is Emma's stylist, and he essentially went into how this look is really not meant to have yellow as this like usual frilly and like day dressy sort of style, but to give it more of like a chic component. So I have been saying that it's like a chic condom. I also have been thinking it's like a sexy slab of butter. And I think that's a great sort of way to go about it. Now, essentially it's a strapless yellow dress. It hits the floor just barely. There is a little sort of bonnet, which does come from the fall 2021 Miu Miu collection. It wasn't a show. It was like shot in, I don't know, mountains or something. I presume like the Tyrolean mountains or the Alps or wherever. And then there's sort of like a fingerless glove sleeve moment going on here that all sort of matches. So it's all in this very sort of light, pale yellow that is not the yellow that you're thinking of like, I got a pocket full of sunshine. But it's also not like urine either. It's pale and it's a cool yellow, which again, I'm not saying cool as in like, oh my god, it's so cool, like I wish I was like them when I was in 3rd grade cool. It's like a cool as in like a cool sort of color, like it's a cool tone, and I think that's not something you often see with yellow, so in that regard, intrigued. Now, listen, do I obviously want it to be a little bit more kooky, a little bit more crazy, a little bit more out there? Yes, absolutely. I feel like there could have been some sort of embellishment that could have went on, could have happened, could have made it a little bit more intriguing. Do I wish the gloves fit a little bit better? Yes, because I can see the wrinkles and the crinkles and the puckering, which don't love. But for the most part, I'm intrigued. I think Harry Lambert and Emma both sort of achieved that goal of making this a sort of different kind of yellow and giving yellow a different context in a fashion sense. I know a lot of people have been saying The Handmaid's Tale when it comes to like the bonnet sort of moment, but also, I mean, pretty positive that Ludovicova is styling Miu Miu, and she is from a Slavic country, I believe. Maybe it's Russia. That makes sense. Also, the fall 2021 collection was shot, again, in, like, the Alps, so, like, you want to keep your ears warm, and I feel like this is a fun sort of way to take on that collection without putting Emma in a literal puffer jacket. That's kind of helpful. Do I think chic condom or sexy slab of butter? I'm going for the sexy slab of butter. That's my end sort of note on it. Chic condom, it could be, but I'm into the sexy slab of butter. And you know what? Butter is a cool yellow if you think about it. You know what I mean? Like, you put butter in the fridge, unless you don't. This is a cool, sexy slab of butter, and I'm into it. Next up is Gillian Anderson, and this is Chloe. Now, this is by Gabriella Hearst, who I believe she is going to be showing her second collection for Chloe this season. This high-low crop top, I'm kind of into. I can see the texture of, I would presume this is like a cotton situation, and then it has this sort of long fringe that's full of like tassels and sort of odd little pieces of jewelry and metalwork, and then it's a sort of high-waisted skirt, and again, you can see the way that this is like woven, and it has a little fringe on the bottom. I kind of love this. I love this for two reasons. I think Gabriella Hearst is very much so a textile designer. I was going to say technical. I'm sure she is very technical, but textiles are sort of the things that when I look at Gabriella Hearst, that's what I am sort of looking for. And I think it's really nice to sort of see this very textured, cottony sort of moment going on. I think the high-low sort of crop top is also fun. I feel like we don't see that a lot. And then, listen, I'm not even like really a fringe kind of gal like that, but I feel like this is a different way to do fringe. It's much more sort of like macrame-esque or sort of like handmade arts and crafts, textiles, I don't know, like commune in Rhode Island sort of vibes to me. It's like an artist commune, not like a, I don't know, culty commune. The skirt also, again, I love the texture of it. I love being able to see the texture of it. I like the sort of fringe little tassel moment. I feel like that's fun. I feel like that's chic. I feel like that's sexy. And also, I think a lot of people don't think about Chloe as much as they should, but Chloe is a very sort of bohemian brand. It was bohemian before Karl Lagerfeld took over, but when Karl was there, he sort of brought it into this lush light of the 1970s, a lot of sort of flowy styles, and I feel like Gabriella Hearst, who's like, I make my own textiles on my family farm in South America, like that's, yeah, boho to the umpteenth degree. Boho for rich women. Like that's the vibe. On top of that, I feel like we're combining that sort of element in here as well. And I have to say, like, if this is the Chloe red carpet direction that we're going to be going in, I'm not going to be hearing any complaints from me. Okay? I'm into it. I think it's fun. I think it's cool. I think it's sexy. I like the texture. I like the fringe. I like the boho vibes. This is like nouveau Chloe, and not opposed. Next up is Issa Rae, and she is wearing Aliette, and I do really like this dress. I think I think it looks really sweet on her. I think it's really, really fun. Listen, I understand there's a black sort of underwear underneath. I do wish we had changed that, or maybe it's like a Skims, maybe it's I don't know, but maybe like a silver, maybe like a nude sort of brown would have really, really worked. But I'm not going to let that affect my love of this silver dress. No, listen, is it like a silver slip dress? Absolutely. But it's all crystallized, and it has these sort of like wavy little lattice motifs all throughout. And then when it hits the floor, it's not even like it's just, you know, a straight sort of hem. No, like the little pieces end, and so they all sort of drop on the floor like a little fringe or tassel-y moment. I think this is really fun for Issa Rae. I think it's a really great sort of look for Aliette to be doing. Jason Rembert, honestly, I think has really stepped up his game in the past 6 or 7 months, and I'm very proud, and I used to be a real like, I'm okay, thank you. But honestly, the red carpet moments have been changing my mind, and I think this is another one to add to the books. It's a really simple silhouette because it is a slip dress, but at the same time, it's letting the textile and the actual design technique do the work, which I think is important. Don't try to do a crazy silhouette if you have a very sort of intricate, very sort of heavy, very sort of shiny style like this. You let the textile do the work, and I think this is a great example of refraining from trying to do too much. And I think this is where like American design simplicity wins out. Just there is a way to do simplicity where it's chic and elegant and regal. This is that. Next up is Jennifer Coolidge, and she's wearing Christian Siriano, and I'm gonna say something crazy. I don't really mind this. Again, it's really simple, but Christian Siriano doing simple and like nice simple, I'm not opposed to. Like, I don't like when we try to do too much and act like we are a revolutionary designer, because we're not. We know that. I know that. You know that. We all know that. We've seen the runways. But I think this is a really sort of nice dress. Listen, it's a black fitted dress, but I think the little, you know, curved cape moment is fun. I think it's easy. I feel like it sort of speaks to, honestly, a Christian Siriano customer. I could see them actually buying this, wearing this, loving this, and I'm not really opposed to that. I think she looks very comfortable. I think she looks very chic and simple and elegant, and again, I think the cape wins out. I think it's a nice way to sort of do design without it being over the top and gaudy. And so, look at me. I like a Christian Siriano. Here we are. Lives are changing. 2021. It's a different world. Next up is Josh O'Connor wearing Loewe. Now, this is a two-piece sort of suit moment. Now, I know everybody's going to be like, it's another black suit. And like, yeah, at first I was like, okay, another black suit. But this is the other thing that I like about Loewe is when they do tailoring, it's not just like tailoring that you've seen a million times before. There's always sort of little elements of the look that you're intrigued by. So essentially, let's start at like the lapels. I like the half matte, half sort of silky lapel moment. I feel like Jonathan Anderson was like, I don't know, I can't decide, I want both. I'm okay with that. I also like the fact that the lapels, instead of going out like this, they actually curve onto it. I feel like, again, very subtle detail, and that's not something I think we think about a lot with Loewe, but I'm intrigued, I'm into it, I think it's fun. The little, I'm going to say, is this like a string tie? Is this like a bolo tie? I'm not sure. It feels bolo-esque, but I like that it's a flower. I feel like it's fun. I feel like it's a nice way to sort of take that idea of normally putting a flower sort of pin on a traditional suit and bringing it into the actual fabric and design sort of elements and techniques. I like the fact that it's a cutaway jacket. It's intriguing that it's sort of like a double button moment. It's not really done up, and I feel like that's kind of cute. And also, like, I wish it was tails, obviously, because it seems like it's just one panel, one flap, but I like a cutaway. I feel like it adds drama. I feel like it adds sort of class. I feel like it adds, I don't know, a little bit of swishiness, which, love a swishy swish. And then the pant, it fits nice. The shoes, obviously, I wish were a little bit more intriguing, but I think the jacket and the sort of tie area is meant to really be like the star of the show. And here's my thing. Josh O'Connor, in any like interview that I've seen, he doesn't really seem like he is super crazy in your face, avant-garde, out there, but with every sort of style that he wears, for the most part, it's like pushing a little bit of difference in each of the looks. And so if that's what we're going to get from him time and time again, I'm intrigued to sort of look at the devil in the details, and I feel like this is another good example of devil's in the details, and they're interesting, chic little details too. Next up is Journey Smollett, and she's wearing Dior. Now this, I believe, is from spring 2021, and again, like, crazy day, I know, but like, I love this dress. I think it's stunning. Maria Grazia, proud of you. This little really tight pleating is so lovely, and it's something that she does honestly very, very often, and I think that this is a really great example of it being done correctly. There's no belt in sight. And listen, could you say like, oh, it's a little bit crinkled, it's a little bit wrinkled on the waist? Yeah, but also like it's a pleat, so like, suck a dick. I love the way that the pleat sort of fans up over the neckline. I feel like that allows it to sort of frill out and up and open. It's stunning. The texture of it is, it's really, it's a stunning texture. It really is. It's so beautiful. I like this pearlescent sort of white. It's gorgeous. And again, I like the fact that at the waist, the pleating gets so tight that that is the thing that helps create and structure the waist. That is a Dior designer I can get behind. Maria Grazia, this is it. This is the moment. We're here. We're living, we're laughing, we're loving. Even the tiers. Not usually big on the tiers, but I think that this kind of works. I'm not really opposed to it. I wish that it was just one flat sort of moment, yeah. But again, I think that this adds to the sort of Dior opulence and extravagance, is just layers and layers and layers of fabrics. And the fact that each of the little sort of tiers are done in a sort of very textured, but really, really lightly sort of textured cream, and then at the end there's the sort of frills at the bottom. I'm not opposed. I think that this is a great sort of example of a modern Dior dress. I like the fact that the pleating is so stunning, and that is what is leading the garment, and the way that the garment is created, and the way that the garment sort of forms to the body. The tiers, I'm okay with. I'm into it. Overall, proud. Proud of you, Maria Grazia. Look at me. Christian Siriano and Maria Grazia Curie. When it's right, and it's right. And so I will say that it's right. Currently doing some on-the-street reporting because, like, Fashion Week. But, you know what? I'm out here in London, and I'm doing my best to make sure that I'm giving you the Emmys videos that you need. So, let's talk about Katherine Hahn in Lanvin. Now, it's pretty much just a black bodice bustier moment with a little bit too short tailored black pant, and then the belt. I think that's really like the most questionable aspect of it, is the belt. Like, why would we need such a large belt? I'm not saying that I want a skinny belt, I'm not saying I want a small belt, but it's just too big. And then on top of that, like, when you add a belt, it's all about, I don't know, accentuating the waist, creating shape. Nope, that's not done here at all. This is just a belt that's existing. You know what? He's not doing it very well. You know what I mean? Like, he's just there on top of everything. He doesn't help. He doesn't offer to help. He doesn't try to help. He just sits there and waits for, I don't know, Katherine Hahn to do the job. And so that's my issue with it. It doesn't really make any sense. It doesn't look very good. And the belt, it's just a waste of space, and that's my real true issue. All right, next let's talk about Kerry Washington. She's wearing etro. Now this is, I presume, is a custom moment. It's pretty much just like a light purpley sort of silk slip dress, and it's actually kind of lovely by itself. Listen, is it a little bit too simplistic for the red carpet? Absolutely. But it becomes not only too simplistic but badly styled when we add the little corset on top of it. Because weirdly enough, like the cups of the breast, it just sort of flops over. It's a little bit too baggy. And listen, I'm not saying I don't love a baggy girl. I'm here for it. I'm happy for it. But it just looks ill-fitting. It doesn't really make any sense. And that's kind of my problem is, listen, just like add a nice embroidery. I don't know. Add something that creates a sort of corseted style. I don't know, like print the silk with something that looks like a corset, a trompe-l'oeil corset. I don't mind, but just putting a corset over it and then it being a little bit baggy and strange on top, it's sad. It's unfortunate. It hurts me. It hurts Kerry. It hurts Etro. It hurts everybody. Nobody is a winner in this, so let's fix that. Okay, next up, Leon Bridges. Now, this kind of like. Now, it's pretty much just a sort of black suit. There's a black little jacket and a black sort of flare pant, but here's the thing. The collar has like a very sort of 70s vibe. The collar is super sharp. It comes over the black sort of dinner jacket, and then also the dinner jacket and the pants are covered in this interesting sort of button style. So it's sort of very elaborate, I would say, for a button. Normally you get, 4 holes in there. It's really simple, but no, this one is sort of made out of a silver or a metal of some sort, and then it's intricately laid, it's placed, it's fun. I feel like it's a nice way to sort of go about doing a black suit, but again, making it somewhat not super boring, super disinteresting. The devil is in the details here. Now, apparently this is by The Pack, but I'm not actually sure if that's a brand. If it is The Pack, I apologize to all of you, because I would presume that if it's a pack, there's multiple. But for the most part, it's really cute. It's really chic. The flare pants are a little bit much, in my opinion. They're not really great. They're not really iconic. They're not really wonderful. My friend is looking at me as I'm doing this review. I will take them because at least it's like intriguing. At least we're trying. At least we're doing. We're moving. We're grooving. Leon, I'm proud of you. Okay, so listen, this is the lighting we're working with. I apologize. Again, Fashion Week, travel, hotel. But next, let's talk about Leslie Odom Jr. Now, he is wearing Dolce & Gabbana. Questionable choice from the very beginning. I will say this suit that is full of crystal embellishments and encrustments and embroidery, it looks nice. Is it a little bit referential of Miuccia Prada, who was referencing Schiaparelli? Yeah. Dolce is also very much so not afraid to, copy the girls. But it looks nice, but again, like, Dolce. So, like, why? Here's the thing. It's not that worth it. Like, is the look okay? Yeah, sure, 100%. It's fine. It's a nice take on menswear. It's been done before, but, like, fine. But is it really worth it to wear Dolce? I don't know. This look doesn't read that way to me. So next up is Michaela Coel, and she is wearing custom Christopher John Rogers. Now, this, I believe, is a quote-unquote sulfur yellow. It's kind of a neon yellow moment. Christopher John Rogers and creative names for colors, my favorite thing. I think I have a Christopher John Rogers notes page that is all of the strange and kind of amazing colors that he names. So like Baja Blast, Lobster, Sulfur is being added. It's essentially a bandeau sort of style. It's a little bit wrapped with a flounce in the back, a high-waisted skirt, and there's some sort of train moment that comes out. Is it simplistic? Yeah. Do I wish Christopher John Rogers was doing sort of kooky, crazy, over the top? Yeah. The color is a lot, but I think that's also where Christopher John Rogers sort of excels. Color is his thing, so this color choice, I would say, is the wow, pizzazz design sort of moment, and then the sort of cut of it, which is rather simplistic in terms of like a bandeau with a pencil skirt that's high-waisted and a little bit of a train and a flounce at the back, is more meant to be the sort of simplistic aspect. Do I want more? Absolutely. Do I think that it's okay? Yeah, but again, always want more. Always want more. And I know everybody's going to be mad at me and be like, you don't like Michaela Coel. That's not true. It's a lie. That's just absolutely false. I watched the speech. It's really beautiful. It's really stunning. I've talked extensively about Michaela Coel and her fashion taste. I just think a more iconic look could have happened. Next up is MJ Rodriguez, and she's wearing Versace. It's really just like a draped dress with some crystals in it. The gathering, the tightness of those pleats over here is really lovely. Of course, it's stunning. It's gorgeous. I think the color is nice on her. But again, it's like, okay, it's nice. No. There could be more. There could be more excitement, more, you know, moments, more blah, blah, blah. I do think this is sort of very custom Versace signature, honestly, so, like, I can appreciate that to an extent, but just because we gather things on one side and we think of it as, like, oh, easy Versace, she looks lovely. Again, wanting more, desiring more, there's so many amazing Versace collections that could be referenced, and they're usually not, so a little bit disappointing. Next up is Nicole Byer. She's wearing Christian Siriano. This is custom. This I like. Listen, of course, like, you know, it's a tulle, it's sort of piped in a tulle, but I do think it looks really, really lovely on her. And again, I think with Christian Siriano, he's actually always willing to dress actresses, celebrities, models, influencers, singers, performers, etc., that do not fall in this very sort of rigid, narrow idea of sizing. And so with Nicole Byer, I think she looks actually really, really lovely. I think this is a great way to sort of, you know, not have to make like a bodycon dress. I think Nicole would look beautiful in a bodycon dress if somebody actually knew how to make it properly. But I think this is a good way to not have to go that route and still be intriguing and opulent and regal and stunning. I think the color purple is lovely on her. I think the sort of drape over capelet moment with the loofah ruche is fun. I think it's exciting. I think it works. Of course, we've seen it time and time again. Gets a little bit boring, but at least there's sort of a sheer element, and then the hem, it's sort of like piped in this very thick, wide strip of these little tulle manipulations. Listen, I think it looks nice. I think she looks sweet. Next up is Olivia Colman. She's wearing Roxanda now. Roxanda is a brand that's been around for quite some time. It's sort of like one of the staple London brands of like the 2010s and still is sort of adapting in the 2020s. Listen, the peachy sort of cape top moment going on with a navy blue dress, like, I do think the colors play off of each other really well. I don't really know much about Roxanda to be like, oh, this is so boring for them, although I did pass the Roxanda store because I'm in London, and there was, you know, a very interestingly scrawled, arty sort of dress. But Olivia Colman wise, like, this isn't bad, you know. A lot of the time with Olivia Colman, I'm like, Olivia, I love you, you're a legend, but this is not it. Rather simple, but I think it's really a play on sort of these two very different colors. They play off of each other well enough. Do I want more? Absolutely. Next up is Sarah Paulson. She's wearing Carolina Herrera. Now, this is from the Spring 2022 collection. This is like right off the runway. Listen, it's a plunging red sort of taffeta gown. There's lots of gathering. I like the sleeves. And I feel like that's something that, I don't know, Wes Gordon has sort of really gotten into, Carolina Herrera. And I feel like I don't hate it. I liked it in Carly Kloss at the Met. I thought it was really sweet. I thought it was really nice. Do I think it's super exciting and cool and wonderful and over the top? No, I do think the sleeves, you know, give a little bit of depth. I think the use of the silk is crunchy and crumbly, and I, you know, wish it was fully ironed, but like that is not a super realistic attitude to take on. I think Carolina Herrera is also sort of like working its way into its next era. It's an American brand, so simplicity is sort of usually key for the most part. Utility, simplicity, easiness to a degree, and I guess that taps into this, so like, it's okay. Next up is Simone, and she is wearing Carolina Herrera Spring 2022 as well. Now, this look to me at least has a little bit more technique, a little bit more experimentation, a little bit more depth. Now, it's pretty much a sort of light pink bodice that has been draped to the side, and then there's a cutaway moment that creates like a train, but this light pink is lined with a sort of very vibrant neon pink, and there's a neon pink skirt underneath, as we can see. Listen, is it a little bit labia-esque? I don't know. I've been watching a lot of sex education, so like that's just sort of my reference point for right now. Yeah, do I think that that's a bad thing? Absolutely not. The vagina is a beautiful thing. We should appreciate it. Weirdly enough, this does remind me of that, but in a very sort of beautiful, elegant, gorgeous way. I think the colors are nice. I think it's always smart when a designer, especially when they're doing simplicity, which again, this is, I think, in terms of red carpet, kind of simple, but I think when they do simplicity and then sort of utilize very subtle design elements, which is utilizing the lining of the dress to sort of create a pop and a pizzazz, that's smart. That can always be appreciated, and I think this is a great sort of moment, utilizing that very light, pretty pink, that's very sort of Carolina Herrera woman-esque, and then sort of doing pop, 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 pop with that really eye-catching neon. I think that's the way to do it. I think that's the way to add excitement. I think Simone looks very sort of gorgeous and fun and exciting and lovely, but at the same time, I think Simone looks very sort of stunning and feminine and gorgeous and lovely and sort of all of that, but at the same time, there's like a deeper sort of pop to it. I think that's, you know, what should be happening at Carolina Herrera. I'm into it. Next up is Taraji P Henson. She's wearing Elisab. I'm Elisabbing, unfortunately. It's just a deep plunging dress with like a sheer sleeve. It's black, and then it has these like little silver sequins that run throughout, and they sort of reflect the light off of them, and so it creates like uneven stripes and dots and motifs. It's just, it's there, you know what I mean? Like, I appreciate, again, the sort of aspects of utilizing the silver as a way to sort of break up the black that's going on there, but, again, want more. I feel like it could be a little bit more intriguing. I do like the elements of the silver sort of popping on these really sheer moments, but overall, at, like, the waist to the top of the thigh, it just sort of gets a little bit lost, in my opinion. Once we hit the skirt, it's actually kind of lovely, and I'd like to see more of that, but up here it's too sort of heavy to me to really sort of hit home in that same way that it is on the skirt. The skirt almost lets it breathe. Sequins really are able to like shine and be looked at, whereas up here it just feels very compact and decadent, and I don't think that's what we want. Next up, Tracee Ellis Ross, also wearing Valentino Haute Couture Fall 2021. No, listen, I love Pier Paolo, I really do, but I just don't know if this like slump over sort of very heavy-handed draping is the moment that we need, or it needs to be worked on, it needs to be workshopped, it needs to be really sort of refined, because it looks like it doesn't fit. It doesn't look intentional, it doesn't look like that's what they were trying to do, it just looks like it doesn't fit, and I think that's really the issue. Do I love the fact that it's in the Valentino, Rosa red, and it's filled with tiny little paillettes? Absolutely. The hands craftsmanship that went into it is stunning, but it looks like my pajamas when I tuck them in to my pants. You know what I mean? It's just not silhouette wise what we need and what we want. We just need more. We want more. We should get more. It just needs to be workshopped over there at Valentino Haute Couture HQ. And finally, we have Yara Shahidi. Now, she is wearing Dior. I believe this is Haute Couture of some sort. I don't know if it's a reference to a runway moment, but do I not like the asymmetry? Of course, but this does feel very Dior-esque, honestly, and I don't even mean Dior-esque in a Maria Grazia way. I think it does really sort of channel and reference Christian Dior himself. Very early, sort of late 1940s collections, early 1950s collections, and I think that's sort of the beauty of it. Mr. Dior, he liked an asymmetry. He did. Much as I hate it when Maria Grazia does it, he did it. I think, honestly, the sort of sheer moments here, on one side, it's really lovely. The other side, I just wish we could do both sides, but I digress. Like, I don't think it looks that horrible. I love a new look silhouette. I think that looks really rather sweet. Do we need the belt? No, I don't think we need the belt. I get it. Accessories designer, Maria Grazia, that's bread and butter. It's just not needed. You know what I mean? Like, Dior is not that. I get it. I understand it. It's just not needed. But overall, I think the new look referencing is always going to be sort of easy peasy Dior walk in the park, or I guess walk on the catwalk. The brown shoes, so I guess they probably didn't have green shoes. Maybe a silver would have worked because like referencing the necklace, but overall, not super duper mad at the sort of organza drape on the bodice. That is the end of today's video. I think the best and the worst? Ooh, this is hard, because there actually kind of were some good ones. I'm going to give the best to Gillian Anderson and Chloe. I think it's really sweet. I think it's really lovely. I think it adds a sort of fun bohemian nouveau Chloe-ness. And if this is Gabriella Hearst's sort of custom Chloe looks, I'm excited to see what comes next. The worst, Amy Poehler. I mean, God forbid. That was rough. That was tough. It's hard to stomach. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'm sorry about the quality changes throughout this. Doing my best. I will see you guys in the next one, and TTYL.